In the heart of New York City, where towering skyscrapers touch the clouds and the hum of life never fades, there lived a woman named Mary. At first glance, she seemed like just another face in the crowd, blending into the endless stream of people that filled the streets. But Mary's story was one of quiet resilience, a journey of finding herself amidst the chaos of loss and the unpredictability of life. Mary wasn't always alone. She used to live in a warm, cozy apartment in Brooklyn with her husband George. Their life was simple, but filled with love and shared dreams. George worked tirelessly as a construction manager, and Mary spent her days running a small bookstore tucked away in a quiet corner near Central Park. That bookstore had always been her sanctuary, a place where the smell of old books mingled with the earthy aroma of coffee, where she could lose herself in the pages of novels and help others find stories that would change their lives. But life, as it often does, had other plans for Mary. It was a chilly autumn afternoon, the kind where the wind whips through the streets, carrying with it the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of change. Mary still remembered the exact moment when her phone rang, the sound cutting through the peaceful quiet of the bookstore. It was the hospital. George had collapsed at work, they said, and by the time the paramedics arrived, it was too late. The world around her seemed to stop in that moment. The steady, comforting rhythm of her life was shattered, and in its place was an emptiness that she didn't know how to fill. George was gone, and with him, the future they had planned together. In the months that followed, Mary tried to hold it all together. She kept working at the bookstore, even though every time she walked through the door, she was reminded of how George used to meet her there after work. The way he would sit in the corner with a cup of coffee, watching her as she moved through the shelves, brought a pang of bittersweet memory. The smile that used to warm her heart was now just a memory that made her chest tighten with grief. Financially, things were tight. George hadn't left behind much. No pension, no significant savings, just the life insurance money, which seemed like a temporary cushion, not a lasting solution. Mary was practical, though. She knew she couldn't afford to stay in their Brooklyn apartment forever, no matter how many memories it held. So, with a heavy heart, she decided to rent it out and move to a smaller, more affordable place in Queens. Her new apartment was a modest one-bedroom on the third floor of an old building. The walls were a little too thin, so she could hear the couple next door arguing late into the night and the clatter of footsteps in the hallway. But it had its charms. The windows offered a view of the skyline in the distance, and in the evenings, Mary would sit by the window with a cup of tea, watching the city lights flicker on like stars in the sky. At first, the silence of her new life was deafening. The absence of George was like a constant ache, a shadow that followed her everywhere. Emma, her only daughter, visited often, bringing with her a burst of youthful energy that momentarily brightened Mary's world. Emma was in her early 20s, just starting her career, and full of hope and dreams for the future. Mary was proud of her, so proud, but she didn't want to burden her daughter with her own struggles. Emma had her life to live, and Mary wanted her to be free to chase her dreams without the weight of her mother's loneliness. There were nights, though, when the loneliness crept in like a slow fog, filling every corner of Mary's apartment. She would lie awake in bed, listening to the distant sounds of the city, and wonder how her life had ended up this way. Sometimes she would dream of George, vivid dreams where he was still alive, still laughing with her, still holding her close, and waking up felt like losing him all over again. But Mary wasn't the kind of woman who let herself be consumed by sadness. She knew that life had to go on, and if there was one thing she had learned, it was that she couldn't wait for someone to come and save her. She had to save herself. One day, while working at the bookstore, an older man named Joseph walked in. He wasn't much of a talker at first, just a regular customer who always seemed to linger a little longer than most. Over time, they struck up a friendship. Joseph was in his 60s, widowed, and shared a love for classic literature. He would come in, browse the shelves, and before long, they found themselves chatting over coffee. Their conversations were easy, flowing naturally from one topic to another, as if they had known each other for years. It was Joseph who encouraged Mary to apply for a new job. He had connections at a nearby museum where they were looking for someone to manage the cafe. At first, Mary hesitated. She had never worked in a cafe before, and at her age, the thought of starting something new felt daunting. But Joseph's quiet confidence was contagious. "You've got more strength than you know, Mary," he said one afternoon. "You've been through the hardest part. The rest is just living." With a sense of renewed purpose, Mary applied for the job. When she got it, she was both excited and terrified. But as she settled into the new role, she realized just how much she had missed connecting with people. The cafe became her new sanctuary. The soft hum of conversation, the scent of freshly brewed coffee, and the warmth of the sunlight streaming through the windows brought her a peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Life had taken another unexpected turn, but this time it felt like a good one. For the first time since George's passing, Mary felt like she was standing on solid ground again. She was earning enough to support herself, and though Emma had moved to California with her fiancé, Mary knew she would be okay. One evening, as Mary sat by her apartment window, the cool breeze from the open window brushing against her skin, she reflected on how far she had come. The city lights twinkled in the distance, and for the first time in years, she felt a sense of peace. She didn't need to rely on anyone else for her happiness or security. She had built this new life with her own hands, brick by brick, and it was hers. Mary's story is not just about loss, it's about rediscovery. It's about finding strength when life throws you its hardest punches and realizing that the only person you truly need to rely on is yourself. In the end, Mary learned that while life might not always go the way we plan, it can still be beautiful. It can still be ours. Mary's story is not the only one of an elder in this world who learned to navigate the unpredictable twists of life. Her journey, much like countless others, reminds us of the profound lessons hidden in the challenges of aging, change, and unexpected loss. When we consider her experience, we can find truths that resonate deeply with our own lives, especially when it comes to the inevitable transformations that life demands of us all. One of the first things we notice is the reality that life offers no guarantees. No matter how carefully we plan, there will always be circumstances beyond our control that force us to adapt. It's tempting to hold on tightly to the future we envisioned, but as we see in this story, even the best laid plans can crumble. Losing a spouse, a job, or even the comfort of a familiar home can shake us to our core. Yet it's in those moments that we realize the importance of flexibility. By learning how to adapt, we give ourselves the gift of resilience, preparing ourselves for the uncertainties that inevitably lie ahead. Next, the need to develop self-reliance. We often talk about the importance of having a support system, but there's a fine line between leaning on others and depending on them for our sense of stability. Life teaches us that, ultimately, we must cultivate an inner strength that doesn't waver in the face of external changes. This doesn't mean shutting ourselves off from others. Rather, it's about recognizing that while people may walk alongside us, they can't carry our burdens for us. Strength comes from within, and we are each responsible for building the foundation upon which our lives rest. Yet, there's an equally important message in the relationships we build. While we must stand strong, we also learn that meaningful connections enrich our lives. The friendship in this story is a testament to that. It's through genuine relationships that we find comfort, companionship, and even inspiration to keep going. Connecting with others doesn't take away from our self-reliance, it strengthens it. When we allow ourselves to form bonds, we're reminded that even in our most difficult times, we are never truly alone. As we move through this story, we are reminded of the quiet power of resilience. It's not the loud, dramatic kind of strength we often admire, but rather the steady, enduring kind that keeps us moving forward even when life seems to offer little in return. Resilience is about finding ways to rebuild, even when it feels like everything has fallen apart. It's not something we're born with, but something we learn through experience, through each difficult decision and every small victory. A powerful takeaway here is the ability to embrace change. It's easy to resist, to want things to stay as they are, especially when life feels comfortable. However, this journey illustrates the beauty that can emerge when we stop fighting the inevitable and start embracing the new. Whether it's a new home, a new job, or a new chapter of life, change offers us the opportunity to grow in ways we never imagined. We must remember that with every change comes the possibility of something better, something that will allow us to flourish in ways we didn't expect. Releasing the past is another valuable lesson. Clinging to what was can sometimes prevent us from seeing what could be. Memories of loved ones, old homes, and former routines can be comforting, but they can also trap us in a space where growth becomes impossible. In this story, we see the difficult decision to let go of physical reminders of the past in order to move forward. And it's a reminder that letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about making room for the future. Throughout this narrative, we're also shown the importance of practicality. Life doesn't always afford us the luxury of following our emotions. Sometimes, we have to make decisions based on what will keep us moving forward, even if it means leaving behind things we hold dear. Practicality, in many ways, is an underrated strength. It allows us to see situations clearly, free from the cloud of sentiment, and make choices that are in our best long-term interest. However, this journey also teaches us to manage our expectations of others. It's natural to hope that those closest to us will be there when we need them, but placing too much reliance on others can lead to disappointment. The story illustrates how, as we age, it's crucial to allow the people in our lives, especially our children, the freedom to live their own lives. By doing so, we maintain healthier, more balanced relationships. It's about recognizing that everyone has their own path to walk, and while we may walk together at times, each journey is ultimately our own. A profound message in this story is the idea that it's never too late to find purpose. No matter how old we are, no matter how much we've lost, there's always something more to be discovered, another layer of meaning to be uncovered. Starting a new job, making new connections, finding new ways to contribute to the world around us. These are all ways in which we continue to grow, no matter our age or circumstances. Purpose isn't limited to our younger years. It's something that evolves with us, and it can be found in the most unexpected places. In this journey, we see someone who wasn't chasing grand dreams or looking for extravagant success. Instead, she sought stability, comfort, and the ability to stand on her own 2 feet. In a world that often pushes us to want more and be more, this story shows us the quiet satisfaction that comes from leading a simple, grounded life. It teaches us that success doesn't have to be flashy to be fulfilling. This story also highlights the strength that comes from vulnerability. Admitting that we need help or that we're struggling isn't easy, but it's in that admission that we find the courage to take the next step forward. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a form of strength. When we allow ourselves to be open, we create space for healing and growth, and we give others the opportunity to support us in ways that strengthen rather than diminish our independence. Facing the unknown is something none of us can avoid. And the journey we've seen reminds us that fear doesn't have to stop us in our tracks. It's natural to feel afraid when we're stepping into something new, but the key is to keep moving, to trust in our ability to navigate whatever comes our way. Life's uncertainties will always be there, but they don't have to define us. What defines us is how we choose to move forward, even when the road ahead is unclear. A lesson that emerges from this story is the value of simplicity. In a world that often demands more possessions, more success, more accomplishments, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. This journey reminds us that contentment often comes from the simple things: a stable home, a meaningful connection, a sense of purpose in the everyday tasks of life. We don't need extravagance to feel fulfilled. Sometimes, all we need is enough. Perhaps the most profound lesson we can take from this journey is the understanding that no matter how alone we may feel, we are never truly alone. Even in moments of loss, even when the world feels like it's moving on without us, life has a way of bringing new connections, new opportunities, and new beginnings. Whether it's through friendship, work, or simply the quiet moments of reflection, there are always ways to reconnect with life and with others. What we ultimately learn from this story is that life's challenges, no matter how overwhelming, are not the end. They are simply another chapter, a chance to grow, to discover, and to build something new. And with each challenge we face, we learn to rely on our inner strength, embrace change, and find purpose in the present moment. Then, we'll share with you 5 important keys that will help you to live a happy life and ensure financial stability when you reach old age. These are not just ideas or abstract concepts. They're practical steps grounded in real experiences designed to guide us as we navigate life's journey. We know that planning for the future can feel overwhelming at times, but the truth is, with the right mindset and actions, we can set ourselves up for a life filled with joy, purpose, and security, even as we age. The first key is all about building a mindset of self-reliance and financial independence. From a young age, it's crucial to cultivate the understanding that we are responsible for our future. No matter how supportive our family or friends may be, it's our choices that will determine how we live when we get older. Learning how to manage our finances, save wisely, and invest for the long term is essential. Many people make the mistake of assuming they can lean on others later in life. But by embracing financial independence early, we set the foundation for a secure and stress-free old age. Next, we have the second key: developing multiple streams of income. Depending on a single source of income, whether it's a job or a pension, is risky in a world that's constantly changing. To ensure financial security, we need to think creatively about how we can diversify our earnings. It could be through investments, real estate, side businesses, or even passive income opportunities like royalties or dividends. By spreading our financial eggs across several baskets, we build resilience into our financial future, protecting ourselves from unexpected downturns or life events that may disrupt our primary source of income. The third key is all about living below our means. This might seem like an old-fashioned idea, but it's one of the most powerful habits we can adopt. Living below our means doesn't mean depriving ourselves of joy or comfort. It's about making smart, conscious choices with our money. We don't need to follow every trend or buy every new thing. Instead, when we focus on quality over quantity and invest in things that truly bring value to our lives, we free up more resources to save and invest. This discipline allows us to accumulate wealth over time without feeling restricted. Now, let's talk about the fourth key, which is investing in our health. We cannot underestimate how much our physical and mental health impacts our happiness and financial well-being as we grow older. Without good health, no amount of money can bring us joy or comfort. Taking care of our bodies through exercise, proper nutrition, and regular checkups not only helps us enjoy life more, but also prevents costly medical bills that could drain our savings later on. mental health is just as important. Staying socially connected, managing stress, and finding joy in everyday moments are key to a fulfilling life. Finally, we reach the fifth key, which is planning for retirement early and consistently. We often put off thinking about retirement because it seems far away. But the earlier we start, the easier it becomes. Setting up retirement accounts, contributing regularly, and ensuring that our savings are protected from inflation and other risks are critical steps. It's also important to reassess our retirement goals regularly and adjust our strategies as needed. Planning isn't just about money. It's about envisioning how we want to live in our later years and ensuring we have the resources to support that vision. Let's dive deeper into each of these keys, because they're more than just practical steps. They're habits and mindsets that, when cultivated over time, transform our lives. When we talk about self-reliance, it's not just about financial independence. It's about taking ownership of our entire life, our choices, our mindset, our actions. It's about understanding that no one else can secure our future for us. By being proactive in managing our finances, staying informed, and making wise decisions, we take control of our future happiness. When we think about multiple streams of income, we must understand that the world is changing rapidly. Jobs that were once considered stable can vanish overnight. Having several ways to earn, even small amounts, adds layers of security. We could look into opportunities that align with our passions and skills. Whether it's freelancing, investing in stocks, or starting a small online business. Each additional income stream not only adds financial stability, but also keeps us engaged and active, which contributes to our sense of purpose. Living below our means ties into another crucial mindset: delayed gratification. In a culture that often encourages immediate consumption, learning how to wait for what we truly want is powerful. By resisting the urge to splurge on things that bring temporary pleasure, we allow ourselves the ability to invest in long-term satisfaction. This mindset not only saves us money, but also leads to deeper fulfillment, because we spend on things that truly matter: experiences, growth, and meaningful connections. Investing in our health is perhaps one of the most underestimated aspects of financial planning. The healthier we are, the longer and more vibrant our lives will be. We must remember that the cost of poor health isn't just medical bills. It's the lost time, the missed opportunities, and the diminished quality of life. Simple habits like regular exercise and mindfulness can have profound long-term benefits. This isn't just about adding years to our life. It's about adding life to our years. Lastly, retirement planning isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about envisioning the kind of life we want to lead when we're no longer working. Do we want to travel? Spend time with family? Pursue hobbies we've always put off? By imagining that future and planning for it now, we can ensure that we don't just survive retirement, we thrive in it. Regular contributions, however small, compound over time, and this early effort ensures that we can live comfortably when we choose to step back from full-time work. When we put all these keys together, they form a holistic approach to life. Each one reinforces the others. Financial independence allows us the freedom to focus on what matters. Multiple income streams give us stability. Living below our means frees up resources to invest in our health and retirement. Taking care of our health ensures we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. And planning for retirement gives us a clear direction for the future. What's truly remarkable is that these aren't just strategies for later in life. They're principles we can start applying now, regardless of our age. When we begin adopting these habits early, they become second nature, and by the time we reach old age, we've already set ourselves up for a life of joy, freedom, and security. Happiness in later life isn't just about financial stability. It's about living with intention, making choices that align with our values, and preparing ourselves mentally, physically, and financially for whatever lies ahead. Let us tell you the story of Daniel, a man who started his journey in a bustling city full of ambition but unsure of how to build a secure future. In his early 30s, Daniel realized that simply working his 9-to-5 job wouldn't be enough to ensure financial security for his later years. He knew he needed to do more than just rely on a single paycheck, so he decided to educate himself about financial independence. He started tracking his spending, creating a budget, and making sure every dollar he earned was put to work, whether it was saved, invested, or used to pay off debts. It wasn't easy at first, but Daniel quickly saw how much more control he had over his future by taking these small but consistent steps. As time passed, Daniel began to understand the importance of multiple streams of income. While he continued to work hard at his day job, he also started a small side business selling handmade furniture, a passion of his since childhood. What started as a hobby grew into a modest source of additional income. Then, he explored investing in stocks and bonds, learning the value of diversification. With income coming from different places, Daniel felt a sense of security he had never known before. He no longer had to worry about job stability or economic downturns because he had built a financial cushion that gave him options. But Daniel didn't stop there. He was careful to practice living below his means, even as his income grew. Instead of upgrading his lifestyle with every raise or bonus, he stuck to a modest budget. His apartment was cozy but affordable, and his car was used but reliable. Instead of spending money on flashy things, Daniel focused on experiences, traveling on a budget, spending time outdoors, and building memories with loved ones. His financial discipline allowed him to save more, invest more, and prepare for the future, all while enjoying a simple yet fulfilling life. As he entered his 40s, Daniel became more aware of the need to invest in his health. He started running regularly, eating healthier meals, and prioritizing mental well-being through meditation and time spent with family. He knew that no matter how much money he saved, none of it would matter if he wasn't healthy enough to enjoy it. By focusing on both his physical and mental health, Daniel not only felt better in the moment, but also avoided future medical bills that could have drained his savings. He realized that health was wealth, in the truest sense. Finally, Daniel embraced the importance of planning for retirement. He started contributing to his retirement fund as early as possible, even when it seemed like a distant goal. Over the years, those small contributions grew significantly through the power of compounding interest. As he neared his 50s, Daniel had the peace of mind that comes from knowing he could retire comfortably whenever he was ready. His careful planning ensured that he wouldn't have to depend on others or work late into his senior years. Instead, he could focus on enjoying the life he had built, one of financial security, good health, and meaningful experiences, knowing his future was well taken care of. As we conclude this discussion, it's clear that building a happy life and ensuring financial security as we grow older requires more than just a few good habits. It requires intentional decisions, thoughtful planning, and a commitment to seeing the bigger picture. The 5 T's we've shared today: cultivating financial independence, establishing multiple streams of income, living below our means, prioritizing our health, and planning for retirement early, are not isolated strategies. They are a powerful framework that, when put into practice, can transform the way we approach life, allowing us to live with confidence, peace, and fulfillment as we age. These principles are not just about money. They are about creating a life that feels abundant in all the ways that matter. What's important to remember is that the journey doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and every small step we take brings us closer to that life of stability and joy. Whether you're just starting to think about your financial future or are already well on your way, The keys we've discussed will help you create a strong foundation that supports not only your financial well-being, but also your physical and emotional health. In the end, it's about balance, creating harmony between the decisions we make today and the future we want to live. When we apply these principles with dedication and patience, we set ourselves up to thrive in our later years, free from the anxiety that often comes with financial uncertainty. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how these keys resonate with you. Are there steps you've already implemented, or new insights you're planning to apply to your life? Share your experiences and reflections in the comments below. We're eager to hear from you. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with others who may benefit from these insights. Most importantly, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future content packed with useful advice and powerful strategies for building a life of happiness, fulfillment, and financial security. Together, we can continue to grow, learn, and create a future that's not just successful, but deeply rewarding. Thank you, and until next time.